than Jupiter, spread my nation. Serpent, vision turquoise, wisdom fortune, kingdom wingspan indication, black and green bone jewelry, purgatory, empty purpose, diamond surface, memory is worthless, embodiment of winter, sinner, cinder, blended into written fixes, candle, wicked aspen, stick, iron spike.
Midnight rides, glowing eyes, vampire bites, incarnation deep. Celtic chords, goddess stitched and thoughtless route with dawn's on. Macabre soul, tease up in this realm of
Reading nature, noon in picture, dark and tragic, sort of romantics. The notes decadent, Jupiter's premonition. Serpent, vision turquoise, wisdom fortune, kingdom wingspan indication, black and green bone jewelry, in purgatory, empty purpose, diamond surface, memory is worthless, embodiment of winter, cinder, cinder, blended into written fixes, candle, wick and aspen, stick, iron spike,
midnight rides, glowing eyes, vampire bites, incarnation.
icy blue,
Epona scenes, one across the known that shade and cottage grotto is rotting.
icy blue,
Epona scenes, one across the known that shade and cottage grotto is rotting.
icy blue.
Brass has been used for centuries across diverse cultures as a spiritual metal, specifically due to its acoustic resonance. In historical and supernatural contexts, the sound produced by brass is believed to act as a physical barrier and a tool for divine communication. 1. The sound barrier against evil. Historically, the primary supernatural purpose of brass bells was apotropaic, to turn away or ward off evil. Warding spirits. In Mesopotamian, Egyptian, and Roman traditions, brass and its cousin, bronze, was believed to repel demons and malevolent entities. Protecting thresholds, shopkeepers and homeowners traditionally hung brass bells over doors not just as an alert, but as a spiritual alarm to prevent negative energy or curses from entering the home. Weather magic. In medieval Europe, church bells were rung during approaching storms to drive away demons of the air, believed to be causing thunder and lightning. 2. Divine communication and purification. Beyond protection, the specific vibrations of brass were seen as a bridge between the physical and spiritual worlds. The voice of the divine. In many traditions, the clear, sustained chime of a brass bell is interpreted as the voice of God or the original vibration of the universe, such as the sound Om in Hinduism. Temple rituals, gunta in Hindu and Buddhist practices, ringing a brass gunta bell before entering a sanctuary informs the deity of the devotee's arrival and purifies the mind of worldly thoughts. Energy cleansing. The vibration of a well-cast brass bell, often lasting at least 7 seconds, is believed to break up stagnant or heavy energy in a room, effectively scrubbing the atmosphere of negativity. 3. Symbolic composition. The choice of brass itself carries specific superstitious weight. Metal purity. Brass, an alloy of copper and zinc, is considered a pure metal capable of attracting positive vibrations while repelling negative ones. Association with wealth. Because its golden yellow hue resembles gold, brass is often used in practices like feng shui to attract prosperity and abundance. Metal Moon Magazine X Brass Bells. The abyss does not swallow light. It preserves it in amber, where it glows most brilliantly.
Diamond surface memory is worthless embodiment of winter. Cinder, blended into written fixes, candle wick and aspen. Stick, iron,
Midnight rides, glowing eyes, vampire bites, incarnation.
icy blue.
Ebola scenes, one across the known that shade and cottage grotto is rotting.
Icy blue.
Ebola scenes, one across the known that shade and cottage grotto is rotting.
Icy blue. Gotta race Philly.
Harsh treatment. Slaves in early medieval Ireland, often captured in raids, were considered property with few rights. Patrick implies obedience to whatever his owner commanded, suggesting a life under strict control, potential punishment, and constant fear of further mistreatment or death. Runaway slaves faced severe risks, including recapture or execution. Isolation and loneliness, as a foreign slave, a Briton among Gaelic Irish pagans. He was far from family, friends, or familiar culture. The work kept him away from settlements for days or weeks, with little human contact, beyond occasional interactions with his owner or other slaves. This profound solitude amplified his sense of abandonment and vulnerability. He often lacked proper clothing or shelter, sometimes sleeping rough in the fields or in basic, scattered huts with the animals. Food was minimal, likely scraps or basic provisions from his master, leading to hunger and deprivation. Daily life would have been grueling and solitary. Physical labor and exposure. Shepherding required constant movement over mountains, woods, and open land to graze and protect the animals from predators or theft. Patrick spent long hours outdoors in all weather. Snow, frost, rain, and cold winds typical of Ireland's damp, unpredictable climate. He was sold to a chieftain, often identified in tradition as Miliach or Milchu, a local king or lord, and assigned to work as a shepherd. This role involved herding flocks, likely sheep, possibly also pigs or other animals, across remote, rugged terrain. Tradition strongly associates this period with Slemish Mountain in County Antrim, Northern Ireland, a hilly, exposed area with harsh weather conditions. St. Patrick's experience as a slave in Ireland, lasting about 6 years from around age 16 to 22, roughly 403 to 409 AD, is primarily known from his own autobiographical work, the Confession. He describes it as a time of extreme hardship, isolation, and physical suffering, but also as a profound spiritual turning point. However, no historical evidence supports the notion that his parents sold him. Instead, his capture was an act of raiding common in that era. Patrick's own words in the Confessio and his letter to the soldiers of Coroticus, where he condemns slavery, reinforced the kidnapping account. Legends later grew around him, such as using the shamrock to explain the Trinity or banishing snakes from Ireland, symbolic of driving out paganism. But his core story emphasizes themes of forgiveness, faith, and missionary zeal. There, he spent the rest of his life, dying around 461 AD, converting the pagan Irish to Christianity, establishing churches, and ordaining clergy. Another vision compelled him to return to Ireland as a missionary around 432 AD, despite the personal risks and the trauma of his past enslavement. Back home, Patrick pursued religious studies, possibly in Gaul, modern France, and was ordained as a priest and later a bishop. The voyage was fraught with dangers, including food shortages, but he eventually returned to Britain and reunited with his family after several years away. He later wrote that God used this time to awaken his spiritual awareness and forgive his youthful ignorance. He fled his master, made the perilous journey without recapture, and convinced a ship's captain, initially reluctant, to take him aboard. After 6 years, Patrick claimed to have received a divine vision or voice urging him to escape, telling him a ship was waiting 200 miles away on the coast. This period was transformative for him. Raised in a Christian home, but not particularly devout as a youth, he turned to prayer and deepened his faith amid the isolation and hardship. In Ireland, Patrick endured 6 years of harsh enslavement, working primarily as a shepherd on Slemish Mountain in County Antrim. These raiders captured him from his family's estate, killed or enslaved others in the household, and transported him across the Irish Sea to Ireland, where he was sold as a slave to a local chieftain or king named Milia or Milchu. Historical accounts, primarily drawn from Patrick's own writings in his autobiographical Confessio, describe him as being kidnapped at about age 16 by Irish raiders or pirates during a time when such attacks on coastal Britain were common. Saint Patrick, born around 385 to 390 AD in Roman Britain, likely in what is now Wales or Scotland, came from a relatively wealthy Christian family. His father, Calpurnius, was a deacon and a Roman official, and his grandfather was a priest.
Nightingale is hesitating, bleeding, fading cathedral in stained glass. Windows are shattered, storm is rattled, rising saddles in the spring. A sacrificial offering, the dragon king, diamonds bling, blinding, blinking. Never overthinking, amethyst under drinking drums. Seduce their own eyes on the stove, a dark rose. Velvet tone, tinfoil bones. Donga funeral, stítico elástico, requisición de iluminación, ti valor de percepción. Recomendación divino.
Gaviota maldición me encuentra de cara al empujo. En memoria de la honestidad de bendiciones. Sangre en un vestido blanco, vino rojo en mi mano, candela sobre la noche.
Stand no man's tierra eternamente maldito. Matter does not kick on a body. Sandinina chadik, chari chalita rani maguti. Superficial wandering, such a suspicion in your pondering. A prouder noia, wilting white sand spilling. Who is willing to die for their life, day and night, love. Despite the twilight, dusk kite, sacred gates, magic and fate. Is the funeral of a beautiful night. Enlightenment, requisition, a courage of insight, recommendation divine. Seagulls curse me in reckoning, Edgar Allan Poe in memory to the honesty of blessings, blood on a white dress, red wine in my head, candles above the nightstand, no man's land eternally damned, doesn't matter who I am. Life land eternally damned. Doesn't matter who I am. I'm known to tread lightly. Or across the dead bunk beds. Needle is distant bluegrass fixtures, fields of pinions. Hidden intentions, muffled distractions. A secret fracture. Japanese soldiers. Rock and meteor. Mortars patted me at the bar song line to the highway frost.
Metal Moon magazine ex-Parthenon. The Parthenon was built in the 5th century BC in thanksgiving for the Greek victory over the Persian invaders during the Greco-Persian Wars. Like most Greek temples, the Parthenon also served as the city treasury. In the final decade of the 6th century AD, the Parthenon was converted into a Christian church dedicated to the Virgin Mary. After the Ottoman conquest in the mid-15th century, it became a mosque. In the Marine War, a Venetian bomb landed on the Parthenon, which the Ottomans had used as a munitions dump during the 1687 siege of the Acropolis. The resulting explosion severely damaged the Parthenon. From 1800 to 1803, the 7th Earl of Elgin controversially removed many of the surviving sculptures and subsequently shipped them to England, where they are now known as the Elgin marbles or Parthenon marbles. Since 1975, numerous large-scale restoration projects have been undertaken to preserve remaining artifacts and ensure its structural integrity. The word Parthenon comes from the Greek parthenos, Pyritohedron normicon, maiden, girl, as well as virgin, unmarried woman. The Liddell, Scott, Jones, Greek. English lexicon states that it may have referred to the unmarried women's apartments in a house, but that in the Parthenon it seems to have been used for a particular room of the temple. There is some debate as to which room that was. The lexicon states that this room was the western cellar of the Parthenon. This has also been suggested by J.B. Berry. Point one theory is that the Parthenon was the room where the Erephor, a group of 4 young girls chosen to serve Athena each year, wove a peplos that was presented to Athena during Panathenaic festivals. Christopher Pelling asserts that the name Parthenon means the Temple of the Virgin Goddess, referring to the cult of Athena Parthenos that was associated with the temple. It has also been suggested that the name of the temple alludes to the maiden Parthenon, whose supreme sacrifice guaranteed the safety of the city. In that case, the room originally known as the Parthenon could have been a part of the temple known today as the Rem. en.wikipedia's.org/Hidden optical secrets of the Parthenon revealed by Oxford archaeologists. The Parthenon, Greece's most iconic temple on the Acropolis of Athens, contains layers of both historical and material secrets that illuminate its architectural, religious, and cultural richness. 1. The Chryselephantic statue of Athena. At the heart of the Parthenon's interior stood the statue of Athena Parthenos, created by Athena. This colossal sculpture, approximately 12 meters tall, was crafted from gold and ivory. Gold plaques covered Athena's robes, and these were designed to be removable, allowing the Athenians to reclaim wealth in times of crisis. The ivory skin was shaped and molded onto metal bands surrounding the golden core. The golden elements contributed not only to religious symbolism, but also potentially to the temple's role as a treasury, storing precious metals. Light was carefully orchestrated. During certain times of the Panathenaic festival, sunlight would hit the gold plaques, creating a radiant illumination against the darker interior, giving the goddess a near supernatural glow. 2. Metal use in structural elements. The Parthenon's construction included sophisticated metal techniques. Iron clamps bound marble blocks together. Ancient craftsmen poured molten lead over the clamps to prevent corrosion and to cushion the structure against seismic shocks. Some restoration efforts have substituted modern alternatives, such as titanium clamps for durability without compromising historical precision. 3. Buried artifacts and archaeological discoveries. Excavations of the Parthenon's foundations revealed preserve remnants from multiple historical layers. Objects such as copper tools, votive offerings, pottery, and inscribed artifacts were unearthed beneath and around the temple. Coins, silver, Athenian drachmas, and fragments of marble statues, particularly the pit of the maiden, shed light on religious rituals and the aftermath of Persian destruction. Hidden or speculative chambers beneath the temple may have served as storage for treasures, sacred relics, or burial sites of important figures. 4. Ritual context and material artifacts. Artifacts point to ceremonial and cultural uses. Votive offerings often included metals, figurines, or inscribed tokens. Incense rituals and the temple's high windows facilitated both lighting effects and ventilation, emphasizing a staged experience for worshippers encountering metal and reflective materials, such as gold, bronze, and ivory. 5. Legacy of metallurgical ingenuity. Ancient Greek tools, chisels, axes, and metalworking techniques were considerably advanced. Masons exceeded modern precision, carving marble and assembling large blocks using metals adjusted for tension. Their metallurgical knowledge allowed durable and sharp tools, which contributed significantly to the Parthenon's enduring craftsmanship. Conclusion: the Parthenon's hidden secrets extend well beyond its visible architectural splendor. Metal was central both to its structural integrity and its sacred symbolism. Gold and ivory in the Athena statue convey religious and fiscal significance. Bronze and iron were pivotal in construction, joining marble blocks and enabling centuries of stability. Buried artifacts, coins, fragments, and offerings reveal a complex interaction of worship, artistry, and resource management. The Parthenon remains an extraordinary testament to ancient technical mastery, where metal enhanced both the divine spectacle and the physical resilience of one of history's greatest temples. For further exploration, see Wandelera's digital reconstruction of the Parthenon, Greek reporter. *Bing.com. Archaeological investigations beneath and around the Parthenon on the Acropolis of Athens have revealed a remarkable array of artifacts that provide insights into ancient Athenian life and the temple's history. These finds are both tangible remnants of everyday activity and metal treasures from ritual or post-destruction contexts. Key discoveries: Persian destruction debris and Pit of the Maidens, circa 480 BCE. Excavations between 1885 and 1890 uncovered a layer of film known as the Persian debris, remnants of Athens after its sacking by the Persians. Within this layer, archaeologists discovered the Pit of the Maidens, which contained 14 broken marble statues of Kori, female figures, fragments of inscriptions, other artifacts in metal and clay, including a hoard of 62 Athenian silver coins. These metal artifacts, especially the coins, represent not only currency but potential offerings or salvage valuables from the aftermath of destruction. Earlier structures and foundations. Archaeologists found evidence of an older Parthenon beneath the current structure. The foundations of these earlier constructions contained copper items and small bronze objects, architectural clamps and fastenings, some of which were repurposed during later conflicts, artifacts embedded in the Parthenon marble. Some ancient items from the time of Pericles, 5th century BCE, were found lodged within the marble fabric of the Parthenon itself, including
Been once by the truth they hate. Can't possess but the floor was split. Sick of the lives with tons of flame. The game is rigged but we play just the same. No time for debate. Path of time and incident. Listen. 숨겨진 진실에 한번 몰린 후 조심스러운 발걸음 하지만 모두 바닥은 갈라지고 지고 불 똑같은 혈을 가진 거짓 마쟁이들에게 구박하는 힘은 조작되었지만 우리는 여전히 힘을 안에 논쟁할 시간 없어 줄까 바뀌고 있어 마음은 갈망하고 있어 바로 그거야 힘이 해질 때까지 불타오르는 것보다 더 가치 있는 삶을 위해 지옥에서 온 악마 같은 존재 그들은 순식간에 모든 것을 잊을 거야 이것을 위해 노력해 노력해
Wrath of giant breaks the chains of myth. Math of time is burned through veins of rhythm. Mind bend intention, the end begins. Redemption's fleeting, it's sink or swim. Sink or swim. Sink or swim. Sink or swim. Catastrophe strikes in the dead night. Wooden crypts hiding secrets from sight. Magic thick like the lights they spin. Judging faces wear their grin so blameless. Within, from sin. Breath of giant breaks the chains of myths. Method tires burns the veins of rhythm. Mind bending tension, the end begins. Redemption's fleeting, it's sink or swim. Been once by the truth they hit. Careful steps before we're split. Succumbing to lies with tools of flame. The game is rigged, we play just ain't no time for debate. Tides are turning, hearts are yearning. Let's sit for a fire more to burn until it's dim. succubus of the hell given. They'll forget forever in a minute. Bend over backwards for the good. Catastrophe strikes in the dead of night. Wooded crypts hide secrets from sight. Magic thick like the lights they spin. Judging faces where their grit so blade. Strawberry pink, blood in the sink. Nosebleed, nature seeds. Up corner to wedding ring. Sterling silver shiver. Scars that glint like rivers. Steel sugar frost. Icicle pillar. Innocence lost in the miracle order. Chopper chain, sensory. The caused and lost in pain.
Bottle rocket blows, Christmas glows, Santa knows sandstone, time runs slow. Elegant bows, elemental bones, cruel refrain from the rose. Metal burns with faith.
No mistake.
Boston market grave, where shadows rave. Stockings torn, no soul to save. Payment lies in the fire. I cry, jewel flames in a shattered sky. A city so weaponized. Feel it in the nightshade. Prepaid dragon's blade. Bezel razor, tongues of glacier.
Rocket arrows, cuts or alarm. Christmas hearts, devil's stars, charms, breaking parts on. Elegant eminent, two-proof reframe by the window. Ornamental, full such Iron, I'm gonna say, conscious and misty. Dressed in willing, gotta steal it. Wallpaper stealing, got food, astramonium, atrophy, loose, lycanthropy. Poison trophy, morphing, zontopy, zombie, apocalypse, sonic trip, no fit.
Strawberry pink, blood in the sink. Nosebleed.
Small
nature
votive
seeds. Up corner
offerings,
to wedding
often
ring.
made of
Sterling
metal.
silver shiver.
Pottery
Scars that
fragments
glint
with
like rivers.
inscribed
Steel sugar
dedications.
frost. Icicle
These
pillar.
finds suggest ritual depositions or symbolic inclusions during construction. Silver and gold offerings. Beyond the coins from the Persian debris, some textual references suggest that additional silver and possibly other metallic votive offerings were buried in foundation contexts, connected with Athena worship or a temple dedication. Detailed inventories remain incomplete due to partial excavation records. Significance of metal artifacts. The metal objects discovered beneath the Parthenon can be categorized as ritual coins and votive offerings, often intended to honor Athena or memorialize events. Construction-related metal elements, including lead-coated iron clamps used in marble blocks, some of which were melted for bullets during wartime, providing a direct link between architecture and conflict. Small bronze objects linked to domestic, military, or religious purposes, reflecting daily Athenian material culture. Summary: beneath the Parthenon lie treasures that combine artistic, religious, and monetary significance, particularly including silver coins, e.g., 62 Athenian coins from the Persian debris, broken marble quarry and inscriptions, votive metal offerings, and small ritual objects, copper and bronze items associated with earlier temple foundations. These finds illuminate both the sacred function of the Parthenon and the complex history of Athens' destruction, rebuilding, and continuing veneration of Athena. While much remains to be fully explored, these buried treasures provide a rare window into the intersection of art, religion, and material culture in classical Athens.
Una ciudad tan militarizada, belladona mortal, hoja de dragón prepagada, navaja de bisel, lenguas de glacial, peligro de bujía.
Strawberry pink, blood in the sink. Nosebleed, nature seeds. Up corner to wedding ring. shivers, scars that gleam like rivers, steel sugar frost, icicle pillar. Innocence lost in numerical order, chocolate chain sets the rain. The cost embossed in pain, in vain. Bottle rocket bows, Christmas glows, Santa knows, sandstone. Sirens flow, elegant bows, elemental bows, room refrain from the rose. Metal burns with fate. No mistake.
Boston market graves, where shadows rave, stockings torn, no soul to save. Pavement lies in the fire I cry, jewel flames in the shattered sky. City so weaponized, villain of the nightshade, prepaid dragon's blade. Bezel razor, tongues and glacier, spark plug danger.
Bottle rocket arrows, 'cause for a long Christmas lost, devil's birds, charms breaking parts. Time runs slow, elegant, elemental, cruel refrain by the window. Ornamental pulsatilla, ranunculus, she toxicity, misty, dress fitting, God willing, God is stealing, wallpapers peeling, natural restramonium, atropine, lucite, lycanthropy, poison trophy, morphing, zombie, apocalypse, tonic, tryptophic. Strawberry pink, blood in the sink, nosebleed, bleacher seats, iconatum, wedding ring, sterling silver shiver, scars that glint like rivers, steel sugar frost, icicle pillar. Innocence lost in numerical order, chocolate chain sets the rain. The cost embossed in pain, Bottle rocket bows, Christmas glows, Santa knows, sandstone, time runs slow, elegant, elemental, cruel free by the window, ornamental pulsatilla, ranunculus, sweet toxicity, misty, dress fitting, God willing, God is stealing, wallpapers peeling, tied to restramonium, atropine, lucite, lycanthropy, poison trophy, morphing, zombie, sonic, tryptophic.
Hardware, diamond hits, popsicle sticks, diosa ladrona, papel tapiz despegado, sedatura, stramonium, atropina, lucita, licantropía, atropeo, venenoso, metamorfosis, zoantrópica, apocalipsis, zombie tónico, guía sin solo son golpes de diamante, palitos de paleta, tumbas del mercado de Boston, donde las sombras deliran media rasgadas, ninguna alma que salvar, el pavimento miente en el fuego, lloro, llamas de joyas en un cielo destrozado, una ciudad tan militarizada, belladona, mortal, hoja de dragón prepagada, navaja de bisel, lenguas de glaciar, peligro de bujía.
You are so dear, vampire, so near, forever tears, bleed into my fears, intoxicated by the hero, forever yours, though the message is monumental, mostly stemming from the haunting nature of the longing for the future, due dates and nugget places, river station, my salvation, amaze laces, so many faces, flowers fading, bouquet stained by ribbon and mesh, bow tie, pasta, lunch for longing in small ways, for a taste of the moment, morning lotus toned and holy hand over heart, pinky promise, warmth in sonnet, skeleton dogs guard the garden under a sea of water, now unnoticed potions floating deep, empty body. You are so dear, vampire, so near, forever tears, bleed into my fears, intoxicated by the hero, forever yours, though the message is monumental, mostly stemming from the haunting nature of the longing for the future, due dates and nugget places, river station, my salvation, amaze laces, so many faces, flowers fading, bouquet stained by ribbon and mesh, bow tie, pasta, lunch for longing in small ways, for a taste of the moment, morning lotus toned and holy hand over heart, pinky promise, warmth in sonnet, skeleton dogs guard the garden under a sea of water, now unnoticed potions floating deep, empty body. You are so dear, vampire, so near, forever tears, bleed into my fears, intoxicated by the hero, forever yours, though the message is monumental, mostly stemming from the haunting nature of the longing for the future, due dates and nugget places, river station, my salvation, amaze laces, so many faces, flowers fading, bouquet stained by ribbon and mesh, bow tie, pasta, lunch for longing in small dates and I get places. River station, my salvation. Harmonious laces, so many faces. Flowers fading, bouquets stained by ribbon and mesh. Bow tie, pasta, lunch for longing in small ways. For a taste of the moment. Morning lotus toned and holy hand over heart. Pinky promise, warmth in sun and skeleton dogs guard the garden under a sea of water. Now unnoticed potions floating deep, empty body. You are so dear, vampire, so near, forever tears bleed into my fears, intoxicated by the hero. Forever yours, though the message is monumental, mostly stemming from the haunting nature of the longing for the future. Due dates and I get places. River station, my salvation. Harmonious laces, so many faces. Flowers fading, bouquets stained by ribbon and mesh. Bow tie, pasta, lunch for longing in small ways. For a taste of the moment. Morning lotus toned and holy hand over heart. Pinky promise, warmth in sun and skeleton dogs guard the garden under a sea of water. Now unnoticed potions floating deep, empty body. You are so dear, vampire, so near, forever tears bleed into my fears, intoxicated by the hero. Forever yours, though the message is monumental, mostly stemming from the haunting nature of the longing for the future. Due dates and I get places. River station, my salvation. Harmonious laces, so many faces. Flowers fading, bouquets stained by ribbon and mesh. Bow tie, pasta, lunch for longing in small ways. For a taste of the moment. Morning lotus toned and holy hand over heart. Pinky promise, warmth in sun and skeleton dogs guard the garden under a sea of water. Now unnoticed potions floating deep, empty body. You are so dear, vampire, so near, forever tears bleed into my fears, intoxicated by the hero. Forever yours, though the message is monumental, mostly stemming from the haunting nature of the longing for the future. Due dates and I get places. River station, my salvation. Harmonious laces, so many faces. Flowers fading, bouquets stained by ribbon and mesh. Bow tie, pasta, lunch for longing in small ways. For a taste of the moment. Morning lotus toned and holy hand over heart. Pinky promise, warmth in sun and skeleton dogs guard the garden under a sea of water. Now unnoticed potions floating deep, empty body.